afternoon, folks, and welcome to the first of our special interest group stream on safe tooling. So one of the most common questions we get asked in the classroom, probably by many of you folks here, is what tools support safe? And the very helpful advice you would get from me and my team is there are lots and Google is your friend, which is true. That is still true. That's not become untrue. However, I was thinking about it and I went, I know some people who have some tools. I know some people who are interested in knowing about tools. I have a meetup. I could do the world a service. So we decided to start reaching out to the folks that we knew and see if they were interested in sharing how their tools support safe, and invited you folks to come and find out. And a bunch of you did. So far, I'm calling this a success. We are very, very excited today to have Aussie Locals Easy Agile kick us off with our first of these. I've known one of the founders of Easy Agile since 2013. I'm not quite sure if I met him in a pub or that's just the most visual memory I have of him from that particular event. But that was the Agile Alliance conference in Nashville 2013. And I think he had a pink cowboy hat on. Anyway, now that I've thrown Nick under a bus, I'll hand over to...
No, that sounds just like him. Sounds just like him.
Cool. And Hayley is joining us today. Tegan got called away unexpectedly, so Hayley decided, despite the fact it was 9 p.m. in the US, that she would step in and help us out so we can proceed today. So we are all yours, Hayley.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. It's super good to be here, and you know we send a lot of our folks through the Pretty Agile Safe course when they start Easy Agile and when they start to explore our products. So it's cool that we can support this community and still be involved. And so, yeah, as Em said, I am here in the US. I've been here since the Atlassian team, which was about 5 weeks ago now. It's 9 o'clock, or it's 8 past 9. So if I do start to flag, I'm going to call on my 2 Easy Agile buddies in the audience, and I'm going to ask you to give me a hand. But let me share my screen. And I'm going to run you through a bit of a PowerPoint just so I still say PowerPoint, but it's always a Canva. So you can see my screen, right, Em?
Cool. We certainly can.
All right. So if you didn't pick up on the intro, I am Hayley and I'm from Easy Agile. So, I really am keen to, continue to educate and enable teams to use Jira and to use Jira with Easy Agile. So we create apps for the Atlassian Jira product, and we're going to look at one of those in particular tonight. And when I say tonight, I mean today. So we're going to have a look at one of those in particular called Easy Agile Programs. So I'm going to walk you through step by step. Ask questions in the chat, unmute yourself, ask questions. Really keen to hear from you. So yeah, really keen to educate and enable teams to use Easy Agile, and also to get your feedback as well. When the session's over, feel free to reach out to us if you have feedback, if you have other questions that come to mind. We're really keen to continue to make our apps even better, and a big part of that is getting the feedback from people who we hope will use them. So introductions, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who Easy Agile is, what our mission and our company overview is, and then we're going to have a look at the product as well. And at the end, there'll be some time for Q&A. So I'm going to go through the product, and as I said, please drop questions in the chat as they come to you, or save them for the end. Either way is fine. All right, so who's Easy Agile? This is us. We are about 50 odd people now, and we are located just south of Sydney in a place called Wollongong. Has anyone heard of Wollongong before? I'm used to asking an international crowd. All right, cool. So some of the Australian-based people, Wollongong. That's good. So as I mentioned, we are a company that creates apps for Atlassian's Jira. We have 4 products on the road on the Atlassian's marketplace right now, and primarily the ones that we speak about are Easy Agile Team Rhythm, which is a product for sprint planning, retrospectives, for backlog refinement. And then we have Easy Agile programs, which I'm going to talk to today. And then we've also got our road mapping product, which sort of sits at that above the team of teams level. And we're making a lot of changes in our road mapping product right now, or our roadmaps product right now. So if you are interested in Easy Agile roadmaps, or you're using Easy Agile roadmaps, there's going to be plenty of changes coming your way in the next few months. So, as I said, we're based out of Wollongong in Australia. We've been around the Atlassian ecosystem for about 8 years. That's our legacy. And we have two wonderful founders who, Em mentioned, Nick, who likes to wear pink cowboy hats. But we've also got another founder, Dave, and they both cut their teeth on Atlassian's Jira way back when they moved to San Francisco, and they helped build that product. And so they've took their learnings from back in the day when Atlassian was just a really small startup to, creating an app that's now pretty popular. And as it says here, we've got about 160,000 users across the world, and we're pretty proud of that when we think of where we started here in Little Wollongong, just south of Sydney. We've got some really big companies, Coca-Cola, Disney, and AXA, P&B, or Renault, a bunch of car companies that use our product. And we're really committed to helping teams realize the benefits of being agile. And we do that through our tools and our thought leadership as well. So our purpose is to help organizations realize the benefits of being agile. We believe that there's plenty of organizations out there who believe that they are practicing agile and that they are agile, but maybe they're just going through the rigmarole and the ceremonies, but they're actually not realizing the full benefits of agility. And so our apps are trying to help teams and organizations go through that whole agile cycle to really reap the benefits of faster delivery, more efficiencies, more effectiveness. And I guess at the end of the day, hopefully, through agility, happier teams and more satisfied teams as well. So that's a bit about us. And here's some more of our customers. As I said, we've got some really large brands that use our products. Can I ask in the audience, has anyone heard of Easy Agile already? Okay, cool. I'm glad that the pretty agile people have heard of us. And I hope that the easy agile people have heard of us, but looks like I'm talking to a new crowd. That's cool. So hopefully by the end of this, you all put your hand up to that question, because otherwise I've done a very bad job. All right, and then the product overview. So as I said, we have a product called Easy Agile Programs, which I'm going to walk you through. And sometimes I'm gonna look over here because I have another little screen here just for my reference. So if you see me look over here, I'm not checking my emails. I'm looking at the PowerPoint as well. So Easy Agile Programs, it is a tool that sits inside Jira or inside your Jira instance that enables real-time hybrid and distributed PI planning. And I know you've all gone through your SAFe certification, so hopefully PI planning and dependency management, you understand how important that part of the Scaled Agile framework is. So Easy Agile Programs, when I walk you through it, you'll see, but it's a really visual tool, and it's helping you to visualize multiple teams' work across a PI in a single place, and that is within Jira. And because it sits inside Jira, all the syncing is in real time, and that's probably the number one differentiator of our product today. Changes that happen inside of Easy Agile Programs are reflected in other places in Jira. And as you change issues and tickets and epics and all those things in Easy Agile Programs, it's reflected in your Jira backlog. So there's that single source of truth and that sync between Jira and Easy Agile Programs that we do talk about a lot. And so beyond PI planning, we believe that Easy Agile Programs provides greater risk management capabilities as well. And it's a really effective Scrum of Scrums tool. And we really want to help teams create a consistent approach to PI planning, managing PI objectives, sprint cadence across multiple teams, and just have a more effective approach to risk management as well. So those are some of the goals of our product. And as I said, I'm going to walk you through, and hopefully you can see that with your own eyes as well. So where our core product or our core use cases are for Easy Agile programs is during that PI planning session and then post the PI planning. So during the PI planning, we believe that, or our product is really enabling teams to understand and communicate that whole of product solution or that vision for the product. And then to facilitate team breakouts during the PI session, so PI planning session or breakout sessions. So we've got confidence voting abilities within the product. We've got the ability to capture PI objectives in the product as well. And then, as I mentioned, we've got that risk management. So you're going to see that our product will raise those conflicts to the surface and bubble those conflicts, those scheduling conflicts to the surface. We're also going to visualize dependencies in the product, and we're going to call out the health of those dependencies within the product as well. So, or within the team. So I'm going to show you those features and then post PI. So it's great to facilitate those Scrum of Scrums, and again, that risk management piece as well post PI. So, and before we get into the product, I think there's just some definitions that we like to get really clear on before we jump into the product, because I'll probably say these words again and again, and I would hate for you to not know what I was talking about, although, you know, that sometimes happens too. So Jira natively does not have the primitive or the concept of a program or program increment. So in Easy Agile programs, we have created or we have introduced this concept of the program or program increment. And so before we dive into any deeper, as I said, we have to align on the definitions that are on this page. The one that I will call out is that a team for within Easy Agile programs, we choose to use a board as the concept for a team in programs because of how flexible boards are in Jira. So I believe the majority of the people on this call are Jira users. So hopefully that's meaningful for you, but a board in Jira is a team in our product. So, and you know, you can change with issues that are included in your board in Jira by editing the filter query, which I'll take you through filters as well. So with all that said, I'm going to jump into the product. Is there any questions, queries, comments before I do? Nah, just keep going. Keep going. All right. I always like to pause there. I'm just going to make my little, all right, now you've all disappeared. I just need to see this whole screen. So I'm going to jump into the product. I might make it a tad bigger. Is that okay for everyone? You can see that okay? Cool. All right. So we have in Easy Agile programs, we've got 3 components within the product. And I'm going to run you through each of those components first of all. So right now we're looking at the program roadmap view, and that's what you're seeing here. The level down, we have the program board, which replicates the physical spaghetti boards that we probably have all seen at different times. And then the next one down is the team planning board, which is particularly important for those breakout sessions that's where the team will probably do most of their work during the PI planning sessions. So that's the 3 components of our program board or our Easy Agile Programs product, sorry. But first of all, let's dive into the program roadmap. So this program roadmap that you can see on the screen right now, it's a timeline or a roadmap view of the future and historic program increments. So we're seeing the Jira epics at this level. So these white boxes going horizontally across the page here are our team or our Jira epics, and it creates visibility into which teams are responsible for delivering which epics and when. and when they're due to start and when they're due to be delivered. So we've got our sprints here, as you can see, across the top of each of the increment. And then, as I mentioned, the epic, so when they start and when they finish against those increments. And we're also showcasing at this level the dependencies that are at the increment level. That are at the epic level. So as you can see, these spaghetti lines, they're different colors, designate different health levels, which I will talk about, but we're seeing the dependency lines between the teams, which are the teams here, and we're seeing the epics, and we're seeing the dependencies between the teams and their epics. So that is a very brief introduction to the program roadmap. So the use case for the program roadmap, this is, as I mentioned at the start, this is really to communicate the product and solution, the product solution vision. And we're talking about risks and risk management here as well. So we've got the dependency lines and their health. As I said, I'll go into the health of dependency lines, but also coming up soon in the product, we're also going to be talking about dependency insights and reporting. So that's the next feature that we're working on. We have a lot of customers who want to start to see reports and insights around particularly dependencies and the health of dependencies. And so we're going to introduce that into the product in the coming months. So stay tuned if you are interested in reports and insights.
Hey, Hayley,
So,
I'm not a Jira user, so I'm going to be an awesome person to ask this question. But there was a question in the chat about how
yeah.
this compares to Jira Advanced Roadmap. I, of course, don't know what Jira Advanced Roadmap is, but maybe you do.
Yeah. So when Jira Advanced Roadmaps, internally we still say advanced roadmaps. So pretty much the main difference is with Jira with advanced roadmaps that is available natively within Cloud Premium, Jira Cloud Premium. It's more of a Gantt chart view. And when we get into the product a little bit deeper, you'll see that we sort of go beyond that Gantt chart view, and we start to really get down into the more granular team level planning. So that is the main difference that we call out. And also we believe that our product is more user friendly to stand up and get started pretty quickly. So that's my response to that. Does the person that asked the question have any other thoughts or queries?
Yeah, Jeff here asked the question.
Yeah.
So is this one where, in your view, I know you're selling the product, but you'd use this instead of advanced roadmaps, you wouldn't use both?
We do have customers who use both. So
Okay.
a customer who would really want that Gantt chart view and who values the Gantt chart view could use this to complement that Gantt chart view at a more granular level. So we definitely do have customers using both. And for that very reason, we put a lot of effort into date syncing a little while ago. So if things change in advanced roadmaps, if dates change in advanced roadmaps, the dates are replicated here in Easy Agile programs. So we definitely have the use case of people or organizations using both products simultaneously.
Okay, so what you're showing here is a lot of sort of planning and syncing coordination, and then the advanced roadmaps maybe a bit more for direct reporting. Would that be a reasonable assumption?
Yeah, and I think reporting at that sort of higher level without that more granular view that this gives you, I think that's probably where our differences lie.
Cool. Okay, thank you. I'll let you keep
That's
on
all
with
right.
it. Yeah. I just wanted to
No.
understand because we use advanced roadmaps, and yeah, it's got its challenges. Probably a polite way to say it.
Yeah, okay. And it looks like Mesa, thank you, Mesa, who is one of our engineering managers, is getting back to some of the questions. So that's good. Thanks, Mesa. Where was I? So yeah, each program increment is represented in this gray box here, and it's a collection of sprints. So the number and duration of the sprint is determined by you as you set up the product and is on an increment by increment case. But all teams within a program must be on the same sprint cadence. So if we've got the different teams running down the board, so for instance, the billing platform team, the marketing creative team, they all have to be on the same sprint cadence. So a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, whatever the sprint cadence is, it all has to be synchronized, because obviously we've got the sprints running down the vertical here on the within the increment. So that is a question that comes up quite regularly. So, and as I said, yes, each of the teams have their own dedicated swim lane, and those are your teams or your JIRA boards. And the name of the swim lane is the name of the JIRA board. So I'm just running, sorry, I'm looking back and forth between my two screens here. So what else can I tell you at this level? So the dependency lines. The dependency lines are pretty much are one of the things that really differentiate our product as well, because they're really easy to set up, and they really, as I mentioned before, bring those risks and that health of the dependency to the surface. So dependencies can be seen between roadmap issues and between issues, as you can see here, but also across the teams. And the dependencies are driven by JIRA issue links and can be configured to display any issue link of a choice of your choice. And the color of the dependency line indicates the health of the dependency. So the red one here, which is this one that we're looking at on the screen now. So the red means that the dependent issue is scheduled in a sprint after the dependency. So for instance, Max 16 is scheduled after the dependent issue, which is iOS. Let's have a look here. Max 16 is scheduled before iOS 3, but actually they should be the other way around, because they're in sprints. One sprint's happening after the other, but they should be the other way around. So we're calling out that there's a conflict there. And then we've got our orange dependency lines, which are here. So our orange dependency lines means that the dependent and the dependency are scheduled within the same sprint. So let's have a look here. So we can see that actually these ones aren't scheduled in the sprint. Let's go to this one here. We've got iOS, sorry, my jacket's getting a little bit warm. iOS 5 and this iOS 4 are actually scheduled within the same sprints, as we can see here. They overlap on sprint 4 and beyond. So we're saying that there is it's an at-risk dependency, and then a green, which doesn't look like I've got. Oh, here's one. Here's a green dependency, and that indicates that the dependent issue is scheduled in the sprint before the dependency. So we're saying that, for instance, TIS and Web 10 are actually scheduled in the correct sequence. So that's a healthy dependency. So we're calling out the dependencies and their health as well. Another thing to call out, you might see these little flags at the top of the increment. These are what we call milestones, and they can be added to the program to represent important dates to business stakeholders. Say, for instance, you might be launching a new product, the team are working towards a big event. So that's where we can call out and add milestones very easily here within the product as well. So, often we are working towards events here at Easy Agile, and you can add that. And I've just added that milestone there. So it's an arbitrary date field that lives inside Easy Agile programs and is not synced with any date field or fixed version fields within JIRA. So that is our program board. As I mentioned, the key use case is to help teams, all teams align on the vision of the product that they might be working towards at this epic level within this program roadmap view. So now we're going to step down and we're going to have a look at the program board. So the program board is the next level down, and it really shows a roll-up view of the 3 levels of issue hierarchy. So that's the team level, the roadmap level, and the 3rd level of hierarchy issue for a single program increment in one view. So we're as I said, we're seeing 3 levels of hierarchy here. So we've got our top level. We've also seen our epics here as well. But if you click on one of these epics, you'll also see the related issues, the issues related to those epics as well. So we've got the 3 levels of hierarchy here as well. And again, we are visualizing the intra, and the inter-team dependencies at the roadmap and team level. So the epic level and the issue level as well. If we have any on my little, yeah. So some of the use cases, particularly for the program board, are that Scrum of Scrums that I mentioned at the start. So facilitating, aggregating PI confidence voting. We recently added confidence voting into this product as well. And again, the risk management. So we're calling out scheduling conflicts, and we're also showing or visualizing the dependency lines and their health. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of the features. So as you can see across the top, just like we saw in the program roadmap view, we've got the sprints sitting across the top of the page or across the top here. And Easy Agile Programs determines the start and end date of the sprints based on either the chosen start date of the program increment or the number and duration of the configured sprints. And the sprint dates do not map back to or need to sync with the sprint start and end date fields for the included boards in Jira. So if anyone is, as I mentioned, I think most people on here are big Jira users, use Jira every day. That's another question that we do get quite regularly. So I've talked about the issue hierarchy. So also we're seeing the team swim lanes again. So just like we saw in the program roadmap, we've got the team swim lanes. So the billing platforms team is a Jira board. The marketing creatives team is a team Jira board. And they're sitting across here in the gray boxes. And then we are also seeing between difficult with my 2 screens here. As I said, we've also showing the dependency lines. One of the things that I do like to call out at this level of the product is this little yellow box that you can probably see at the end of this epic. So this is our we're calling out a risk here. So we're saying that we've got Plat 6 epic is due to finish in sprint 3, but actually we've got an issue that is scheduled outside of when that epic is supposed to end. So Plat 15 is related to, is a child issue of Plat 6, but it's actually scheduled outside of when that epic is supposed to end. So we can address that yellow box here, that risk that we're calling out, by either dragging and dropping the issue to align with sprint 3, or we can actually just extend the epic here as well. So that's something again that we're calling out the risk, and we're helping teams address risk, not just by the visualizing dependency lines and their health, but also calling out the risk at that point as well. And then confidence voting. As I said, we recently introduced confidence voting, and it's been a popular feature of the product so far, but it's to facilitate and aggregate PI confidence voting. So you can just click this little hand here, as you can see in the top right corner, and it can be used at various points of the program increment, to gauge confidence at various moments in time. For instance, at the beginning, the middle, or the end of a PI planning session, and all users in the program will have the ability to input their confidence score, and the Easy Agile programs, our product will calculate the average across all scores. So the scores are not stored within Easy Agile programs or written back into Jira, and they're fully anonymized as well. So you will just see the average confidence vote, not what individuals voted for. So that's a neat little feature that we're using to help embed agility into teams and to make teams more confident around what they're doing and to address those things as well. So just making sure that I haven't missed too much. Now, and then finally, the sort of the star of the or where the teams are going to spend a lot of their time, and teams particularly like this view, is the team planning board. So each team in the program will have their own team planning board, and this board represents a virtual team breakout space where the teams will have access to their Jira backlogs, the sprints of their Jira boards that have been synced to the program increment, and any workflow status, custom issue types, permissions, etc., that have been configured to the board in Jira. And in this space, teams plan and break out their work, create dependencies, as you can see with the dependency lines here. They can set PI objectives, and again facilitate that confidence voting with our neat little feature there. The use cases of this part of the product or the team planning part of the product is, as I said, to facilitate those team breakout sessions, but again, to manage risk at the team level. So we're seeing the spaghetti lines, as we like to call them, but the dependency lines and their health as well. So we're seeing, again, we've got sprints across the top here. And also we are seeing, we also had capacity planning against each of the sprints here as well within this level of the product. So capacity management is available on the team planning board for Scrum boards, and the capacity input is a numerical value that is manually entered into each sprint. So you can set the limit within each sprint, and then it's going to calculate your issues below that sprint to make sure that you're maintaining your capacity as well. And estimates can be directly added to each issue. As I said, we've got a little pillbox here as well, so you can estimate issues within each of your issues below the sprint. And as I said, that will calculate up to tally at the top under the sprint as well. So scheduling issues from the team backlog. So as I mentioned in the PI planning breakout sessions, teams might come into this product and actually schedule issues. So they can pull issues directly off their backlog and just drag and drop them into the product. Or if you like, you can also create a new issue as well. New issue, and you can allocate it as a task, a story, or a bug. And that actually has become a new Jira issue. And we have scheduled it for sprint 6 under its aligned column there. So the issues can be scheduled from the backlog into the program increment, as I said, via the drag and drop. And so, we have the drag and drop feature, as you can see, across each of the levels or the components of the product, the program roadmap, program board, and the team planning as well. So creating issues, as I mentioned, we've just created an issue, but also you can create dependencies at this part or at this section or component of the product. So you can easily create dependencies between issues, and then you can address them as well. So for instance, TIS 162 and TIS 167, we've got a conflict here between these two, and we can easily address that by dragging and dropping to address it. Or you can, if the dependency no longer exists, you can delete the dependency as well right from within this. We have a lot of filterability within the product. So to help teams focus when they're in their breakout sessions, to help them focus on which dependencies to address and talk about first, we can filter down by just having a look at conflicts, for instance, or we can have a look at external. So external dependencies are these black lines that you're seeing going off the screen. That might be a dependency to a team that's not represented on this board just yet, or it might be a dependency on an issue that's scheduled in another increment. So we've introduced external dependencies because a lot of people were saying that sometimes the dependencies this is a new feature we added probably about a year ago. A dependency might be on an increment that's happening down the track, but we still want to represent and visualize that dependency. Within this space as well, you can actually start to bring in, you can actually start to look at or filter through your different teams, and you can add different teams as well. So this space travel, right now we've dropped down to look at the billing platform team specifically. We're looking at their epics and their issues. But if we go over to this pill here, we can see that there is an at-risk dependency between the billing platforms team and the space travel website team. And so we've just brought the space travel website team into the team planning board right now. And we can see that there's this at-risk dependency between the two teams. And again, within that breakout session, you hope that teams can have the discussion and address these dependencies, remove them, or make them healthy and schedule the items in the right direction. So just having a look, making sure that I haven't missed too much. We've gone through confidence voting as well. Is where you would set your PI objectives for the team. So as I mentioned, this is a critical part of a PI planning session. We've got your planned value and the actual value, and you can also add objectives as well within the team planning board. So that is a feature that we heard a lot of customers ask for. They wanted to capture those PI objectives and measure them. And so we added that probably, I would say, 6 to 9 months ago as well. So yeah, look, I think, to be honest, Em, I think that's sort of the top level of the features of EC Agile programs. And I know that feels like there's been plenty of questions during which I'm really grateful for Mesa to address, but that's high level of EC Agile programs. Is there any questions, comments, queries that myself or any of my colleagues from EC Agile who are on the call can answer and address for you tonight, or today, sorry?
What have you got, folks?
Maybe they've all been answered in the
No,
chat.
they're warming up, I can
They're being
tell.
shy. Oh, they're being shy. Okay. That's
So
fine.
question one, when it gets installed, is it for the entire Jira instance, or can you do it on a board or a team by team basis?
So if your organization has a 10,000 Jira license, EC Agile programs is available to all 10,000 users. So it's not just by a board or by a team, it's by your Jira license, it's coupled with that.
Okay.
And maybe to add to that, if, as Hayley mentioned, yes, it is going to be accessible to everyone, the way you will be able to customize programs is through program list. So Hayley, if you can go to the very first tab.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you start creating the programs and which boards or which teams you want to include in each program. And this becomes more focused to a group of teams.
Yeah, the question was more working for a large enterprise of trying to get it going, doing it for a few people to start with, as opposed to we're going to go buy it for the entire enterprise, straight off the bat.
Yeah.
We can have the evaluation. You can have, sorry, Hayley.
No, I was going to say the same thing. We have the free trial. But yes, currently that's how plugins for Jira work. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Including ours. Yep. All good.
One in the chat for you, Hayley. Any art or team flow measures, visualizations available in this tool?
Art, no, not today. And we are, as I mentioned, we are introducing in the coming months. We're looking at how to surface insights and reporting within the tool. But that's as far as we've got. I'd love to understand that one a little bit more. I missed that. But any art or team flow measures? Yeah. Flow measures are something that we've heard a lot about within SAFE, and we've got asked that question, and I'm not sure what the team has planned when it comes to reporting, but we definitely have flow on the radar. So yeah, but that's a good comment. I'll take that back to the team. Good question. Thank you.
We'll invite you back when you've got your new reporting to show
Yeah,
off.
I know. We'll be so proud of that too. Please do invite us back.
Just heads up, actually, next month, which is we are working on the dependency report version 1, and we are aiming to finalize it this sprint. We have another 3 days left of this current sprint. So we are aiming to release the first version of the reporting, and we are going to start building on top of that feature. So it is going to, you will be able, in the near future as well, you will be able to export these reports if you want to share it with stakeholders, or if maybe other people, they don't have access to Jira, so it will be easier to visualize and communicate that information. There is a lot of focus happening on the dependencies and the dependencies lines, and how we are going to filter the noise out of it, or maybe put more highlights into the critical dependencies. There's a few things is going to happen in this space in the near future.
Right. Thanks,
Awesome.
Mesa. Any other
Anyone else?
thoughts,
Any?
questions?
The only other thought I'd say is, having had a bit of a play with Advanced Roadmap, the dependency management on here is one of the, to me, one of the real key features of this, because across multiple Jira boards, trying to get that dependency management is challenging. It's probably a good way.
Yeah, good feedback. Thank you. It's definitely something that we pride ourselves on, the dependency mapping and just the general ease of use of the product, but the ease of creating dependencies to really have hopefully fruitful discussions for the team. So
well,
yeah,
kind of
appreciate
pre-COVID, you'd go get like a big meeting room wall and you'd stick everything up and you'd put the physical bits of string on it that looked exactly like this, right?
yeah.
Post-COVID, you can't do that stuff anymore, right? With virtual teams,
No.
it's kind of impossible
No.
to do that, right? So that's articulating that's quite good.
Cool. I've never been to one of those, big room in-person planning sessions, but they sound pretty fun.
Oh my, you're a digital native safer. We were just talking.
I am. I've never experienced the real thing.
We were just
when
talking
I say the real
about,
thing, I mean the in-person thing.
Yeah, we were just talking about trains and teams and scrum masters who've never done in-person PI planning, and they don't know what they're missing.
As in, it's fun.
Yes, it is fun. You can tell Nick, I think, that you should really try this. He's used to getting this message from me via one of you.
Yeah. What, try in person?
Yeah. I'm willing to come to Wollongong.
Yeah. And then we'll probably say, why? Surely there's a product to do this online, right?
Maybe.
But you really need that discussion to, you can put all these things in here, but if you don't have all the people actually understanding what the dependencies are, it's a bit of a garbage in equals garbage out problem, right? So if you haven't actually understood what your dependencies are, mapping them doesn't actually add any value. So I go with them, in-person stuff to conceptually understand where everything goes and how everyone views what needs to get done, and we'll all get agreement. And this is a really good way to visualize for people with varying levels of planning and PI skills.
Yeah, appreciate the feedback. Well, as I said, go. Sorry, go, Christine.
Sorry. I just thought of this one. When you close out a risk, does it disappear off the view? And can you access it after to look back at it? Sometimes looking back at historically at some of this stuff, it helps for future planning. So
interesting. So you're saying if I would delete one of these dependency lines, you would like to see that? Is that what the risk you were talking about?
not necessarily delete. So I'm thinking about when we used to manage these like risks manually, we would close out the risks, but we would retain them in a repository so we could see them in future. Because
so you didn't repeat?
There are learnings that you can get out of how risks were managed historically. So
can I answer this, Hayley?
Yeah, go for it, Mesa.
Yeah, at the moment with the current product, if you are resolving a risk, either by moving the scheduling to a different sprint or fixing these dependencies, the dependency line is not going to disappear, but the color of it is going to change to green, for example. With regards to maintaining the history of all of these dependencies and maybe action you've been taking to address that risk, this is actually one of the discussions we are having at the moment with the product managers on how we are going to surface this information in the future through a report or maybe an info screen or something to maintain that information. So with regards to this, it does not exist at the moment, but it is something we are considering for the future.
Very good.
Did that answer your question, Christine?
yes, it did. Thank you very much. Yeah.
No worries, thanks.
So, as I mentioned, we have some we have the Easy Agile Programs free trial available on the Atlassian Marketplace. We've got some help documentation, which is the URL that you can see on your screen. But if you have thoughts, questions, comments, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and send them to me there, and I can always filter them through to the support team. Or you can just email us at support@easyagile, and we'd be happy to connect with you, answer your questions. We've got a really great support team who are always available and have helped build the product from the ground up. So they definitely know the ins and outs very well. So yeah, really welcome any feedback and questions at any point.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, Hayley, at short notice from the other side of the world. And
good.
thank you, Mesa, and who was it? Kevin.
It was Kevin.
Kevin coming along and providing some additional support. Really fun to see what the tool does. And yeah, appreciate you guys making the time for us. And we look forward to seeing you again soon with reporting and whatever other brilliant things you come up with.
Yeah,